In this, guys, we're going to talk about the 70 Nations Conference. You can see that we have the shirt. We were at the conference. We attended the first day, or really first night, and then the events leading up to the sacrifice. Now, there's of course a lot of comments, a lot of things about this. So I want to cover some more of the details. Some of you wanted some more details about commentary or whatever. So that's what we're going to do in this. And guys, for those of you that had a hard time watching, keep in mind I'm there, okay? And I have covered 3 of these animal sacrifices in Jerusalem. And it's not easy. Quite often I'm sick, sometimes for days. So that happened in this one. When I was there, I recorded the footage, I edited it, I posted it to YouTube. I was not really in a state to really function much. I just was kind of in shock, okay? So I was really unable to continue the conference. I want to go, and the point of attending the conference was to hear directly from the speakers what this is. I know many of you are interested in what is the 70 nations, what is all this, and we're going to talk about a lot of the details. You might even say, well, Leland, are you, participating in this thing? Well, no. You guys know I'm of course highly critical of what's going on here. But it's very, very important prophetically. I know many of you believe that prophetically this is very significant, but you don't really know why. You don't actually know the details of the scripture. So we're going to talk about those details here. But the first thing we want to talk about, as far as the details, guys, is this is just so awful. And the only thing I'm going to do is just tell you the truth, okay? When you come to Jerusalem, I don't know how the experience is for everybody. For me, I come across very, very strange circumstances, okay? What's happening is now when I come because of the YouTube channel, people will recognize me, okay? People will recognize me, oh, Leland, and that's great. If any of you ever see me in Jerusalem, I'd love to meet you. There's no problem with that. But the problem is you don't know. I don't know you. You know me, you know my message, and but I don't know you. So if you just come up, I'm going to greet you, that's fine. But then you come across weird things. This is Jerusalem. Everyone comes here for, weird things. And the thing that many of you don't understand is that the idea of sacrificing, now this is Mount of Olives right here, okay? That's not unusual here. There are actually people that sacrifice sheep that are, supposed believers in Yeshua. This is not uncommon, okay? I've heard people actually doing this, and people very much in favor of this, certainly with the sacrifice itself. So one of those people I met in Jerusalem, and got to talking, asking me questions, as everyone does, and then in the course of this, we actually are talking right outside the city of David, or excuse me, the tomb of David in Mount Zion. And in Mount Zion is the Noahide law kind of center for the Gentiles. And in it, in fact, I'll just show you briefly a clip of the 7 divine emanations. Okay, here we are in the Tomb of David area in Jerusalem near Mount Zion, and this is the center for the 7 Noahide laws. You can see them here, 7 useful commandments, again for the Goyim, the Gentiles. And right next to this display here, and you can pause this and look up these different sites if you're interested, is this. This is the 7 powers of your soul, 7 divine emanations, 7 useful commandments. So they're connecting these Noahide laws to chakra. This is Eastern religion, this is paganism, and that is what they're doing. Hashem is not the same God of Jesus Christ, okay? These are false religions. So there we could see what, if you know anything about religion, you've studied religion or different things, the thing that you see there with the colors is called chakra. And chakra is found in Kabbalah an Eastern religion, and it is basically they pervert the tree of life into various points. I think there's 10 points, but the chakra has 7. Now, the reason I'm explaining all this is that I'm sitting outside of the Tomb of David talking with someone that is in favor of chakra. Okay, in the course of conversation, this person is telling me that these things are good, that these chakras, these Eastern religion, he's taking this Eastern religion concept and combining it with Judaism. And he's saying those 7 divine emanations are actually the menorah. Now, this is just horrible, and I know for the majority of you listening to this, this is, of course, very strange. But it gets worse. So as I'm talking to this person, they then begin to explain to me that they've been doing lamb sacrifices for 5 years. Okay? And in the course of explaining this to me, they basically said that they would pray until the spirit of Yeshua entered that sheep. Okay? And there was someone else there that recorded this confrontation I had with this person. Okay? I hope that footage, they'll share it, because you can see, I was appalled by this. But this person is basically telling me that they're conjuring a spirit into a live sheep that they're about to kill. And, that's not to say there isn't some spirit, but it's not Yeshua HaMashiach, it's not Yehoshua, it's not Jesus Christ. Okay, he's not going into the sheep for you to... This is horrible abominations, and I know all of you agree with this. So this person is telling me this, right, and is also preparing to go to the same conference, this conference. They're preparing to go. So I'm like, look, this is just horrible things you're speaking to me. Do not... we are not going together to this conference. We are not cool, okay? This is not good. Well, of course, this person comes. Not only, guys, do they come, he was the one that did the sacrifice. Now, I'm providing all this detail so you know the backdrop of what's going on. So, in this video, maybe later, I'll show you a brief clip of a guy that was supposed to do the sacrifice. He's from the United States. He's from Maine. And he was supposed to do the sacrifice. He is the Gentile that was going to do the sacrifice up on the Mount of Olives. Well, for whatever reason, he, wasn't there, disappeared. He wasn't part of it. So it was like, what do we do? So the Sanhedrin is talking to different people, and they talk to the person I just described to you. And he said that he had dreams and visions of doing this sacrifice for the 70 nations. Okay. So he is the one that you see in the video holding the sheep and slaying it. Now, as well, if you want to see my state at that time, okay, you can watch Brother James Smith. He was also there on site. As far as I know, he and I are the only YouTube bloggers that recorded this, okay? And keep in mind, pay attention. This is big, guys. And who is talking about this? Okay, who is talking about this in your kind of prophetic circles? Not many, all right? But Brother James was there. The link to his video is in the sacrifice video, okay? Now, I caution you, his is much more graphic than mine. I try to keep as much the detail of the blood and everything else and make it a little more family-friendly, okay? But he shows the details. And he's right behind me, and he catches me while this is going on, and he asked, Brother Leland, what do you think? And so you can see that at about the 40-minute mark, I believe, in his video. So you can see my state at the time. And that state I was in for a better part of a day, just kind of in shock. That's why I was not in any position to do a commentary. Now, the other thing about this whole event, guys, is on this channel, we don't follow the moon in terms of the feasts and the calendar. We follow the Enoch calendar. And on that day, when they sacrifice that animal, it's a Shabbat. It's a Sabbath. It's a Shabbathon. And it's the 9th day of the 7th month. It's the day before Yom Kippur. Okay, so originally they were supposed to do it on the Friday, which is actually Yom Kippur, according to the Enoch calendar. Okay, that was the other reason I couldn't mentally bring myself to attend the rest of the events, and I also just wanted to, keep the feast day. So anyway, I didn't get to see the rest of the sessions, if they become available, I will post links to them, okay? But Brother James, he recorded, a lot more detail. He has a lot in his video. If you are interested, it's about a half hour. So he covered it, I covered it, and that's it. So there's also coverage, other media coverage that may also post that was there on site. And the other thing that many of you are saying is that, where are the 70 nations? Where are all the participants? Well, it's very hot in the sun, and they're there, but they're not in that circle. And the circle that you see around the sacrifice taking place is just people getting video and taking pictures and actually doing it. But what you can't see is behind it. It's really kind of hard to catch, is the people are sitting around in the circle and sitting in the shade. So it was more people there than many of you realize. And the other question is, who are the people that are attending? What are these 70 nations, and are these like diplomats or business people? The best of my knowledge is no. They're just kind of regular Christians, and somehow I didn't really interview them or find out a lot of details, but they're just kind of, I don't know what their standpoint is. Most of them are in Central America, Spanish speaking, and so I didn't really engage in a lot of that kind of dialogue. But I did know, another brother who recognized me on YouTube. He was there in the conference as well. His name is Azariah. You can see him in James Smith video. So he was there, part of the conference, and I just couldn't continue the conference. So after the sacrifice that took place, then what I did is I went back to the conference trying to continue, but the people are acting like they're eating lunch and everything is fine, and I'm just like, I can't eat. I'm just traumatized by this, okay? And the reason I'm traumatized is because of the backdrop of the circumstances, guys. So let's think about this. This guy is saying that he has other gods, okay? He has Eastern gods, chakras, okay? And the whole point of this is, let's remember the point of this. It's the unrighteous decree. We have the Pope doing the same type of decree, okay? He doesn't have 7 Noahide laws, but he's got the same basic principle the Sanhedrin is. So we got the Pope, and now this guy comes in bringing these other gods. And guys, I don't know what he's doing. I don't know if he's doing the same thing he told me, where he's trying to conjure up a spirit into that sheep, okay? You can see he's crying. He's very emotional and everything. I don't know what's going on there, guys. But I'm just telling you the backdrop of what's going on, because these are different gods. Now, the majority of my audience and ministry is to awaken the believers in Jesus Christ, all right? And for the most part, you guys don't really understand, a lot of these kind of pagan religions and different things, all right? You kind of know, okay, let's stay away from that, right? But Hashem is not the same God as ours, okay? Jesus Christ is the only way to the Father. And these Eastern religions is not, these come from, fallen angels and stuff, and they visit, different people and institute these religious systems to worship different gods, okay? And Allah is not the same God. So you can see throughout the video they're saying the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, but that's not true, okay? The God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is our Father that manifests the Mashiach through Jesus Christ, okay? And that's the core of what we believe. We can't compromise that. Now we're violating the first commandment. You'll have no other gods before me. Allah is a different God than Hashem, okay, than these Eastern religions, okay? They're not, Jesus Christ is the door of the sheepfold, okay? So what are they doing? What are they sacrificing the animal to? Jesus Christ put an end to the sacrifices, right? He was the sacrifice. He completed it. It is done. It is finished, okay? The veil was rent in the temple. So he's the sacrifice. We don't sacrifice animals again, So, and look, there's a lot other things to this, okay? Yes, we know that there will be a millennial temple, okay? And that's Ezekiel's temple, but that's not here, okay? So we don't do this. This is not right, guys. And I know you know this, but I'm just saying, when they sacrificed that sheep, he might have conjured up a spirit to go inside it and then killed it. And what that spirit is, I don't know. I don't know what this is. This is things related to the fifth trumpet, where the angel has the key that opens the bottomless pit and locusts come out. That's the type of stuff we're dealing with. That's the prophetic message I've been trying to convey to you guys about what this is going on. Now, they're fulfilling all of it, and you can, for time's sake, I won't get into all of it, but here's our brochure, okay? And in it, the International Tribunal, let's see, can I get that? I can't really get that in the light. But basically, this brochure we have here is a quotation of Isaiah chapter 11, verses 1 through 4. But a shoot shall grow out of the stamp of Jesse. Okay, and the spirit of Yahweh will rest upon the spirit of wisdom and insight and counsel and valor, spirit of devotion, reverence of, or fear of Yahweh. Okay, and so this we know is Jesus Christ. Okay, he fulfilled it. He will strike down the land with the rod of his mouth. He's going to rule the nations with a rod of iron. Okay, the justice shall be the girdle of his loins, and faithfulness the girdle of his waist. This is what we see in Jesus Christ, Revelation chapter 1. Now, this is the mystery here, guys, is verse 6. The wolf will dwell with the lamb. The leper will lay down with the kid, the calf and the beast and the prey, the fatling together. The little boy and the herd. Now, this is a mystery. Now, let's view a mural here that we can see the beasts of Revelation 13 are all listed, okay? And let's take a closer look. And what we have is the false prophet is the lamb that speaks as a dragon. So we have the lamb there. We have the ox, okay, eating grass. Above him we have the bear. In Revelation 13 he has feet of a bear, he has a mouth of a lion, and there is a heifer. There is a leopard, he has a body of a leopard. There you see the leopard. And there we see the goat, and above him is the wolf. So it's wolf in sheep's clothing, and these are all the beasts of Revelation. Okay, this is very important. You understand we have another video on this. Not going to spend too much time, but I just want to illustrate this to you. Verse 7, the cow and the bear shall graze. The young lion shall lay down together. The lion and the ox shall eat straw. Now, this is a mystery because this is the beast of Revelation. And so, guys, I encourage you not to be overly critical, of these people, because you guys don't understand this stuff either, all right? But I can prove to you that that's the beast of Revelation. And that's what they're sacrificing the animal to, the beast. Okay, Mystery Babylon. How do we know this? Well, Amos chapter 5 tells us about the time of the trumpets. Who shall turn judgment to wormwood? Wormwood's the third trumpet. Okay? And the shadow of morning, and makes the day dark with the night. That's the fourth trumpet. Verse 19, a man did flee from a lion, and a bear met him. He went into the house and put his hand, and a serpent bit him. This is the beast of Revelation 13. Okay? Then it says, I despise your feast days. I will not smell your solemn assemblies. Though you offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard your peace offerings of your fat and your beasts. Take away from me the noise of your songs, for I will not hear the melody of your vows. What's going on here? The reason, guys, he's not accepting these sacrifices is because it's to the beast. It says it right there in verse 19. A man did flee from a lion. Okay, you got a bear, you got a serpent. This is the dragon. This is the beast of Revelation 13. That's who they're offering these sacrifices to. Let's make that very, very apparent, very, very clear. Okay, that's why this word is so strong against this behavior. And then it talks about the tune of your images, the star of your God which you made unto yourselves. Okay, and these sacrifices under the tabernacle of Moloch. Okay, and that's what we know this is going to happen. All right, but let's remember that Jesus Christ, when he came, he came and he spoke in parables. Okay, we know he spoke in parables, and one of the parables he talked about how he would he was the stone that the builders rejected. and he became the head cornerstone. This is the Lord's doing, and it's marvelous in our eyes. Therefore, say I unto you, the kingdom of God will be taken from you and be given to a nation, bringing forth fruits thereof. Whosoever shall fall on this stone shall be broken, but whosoever it shall fall, it will grind him to powder. That's Matthew chapter 21. Now, what happened is there's an order to the Sanhedrin. So the Sanhedrin at the time of Jesus Christ, they crucified him, okay? And they were what? 70. Well, he then replaces them in the kingdom. And you can see that in Luke chapter 10. Now these things the Lord appointed other 70 also, and sent them 2 by 2 before his face, and where he would go. All right? And you know, so he replaced that Sanhedrin with his own disciples, his own 70. Okay? So that's what he's saying. He said the stone that the builders, because they rejected the stone, and in that parable he sent his son, but they killed his son because he was the heir to try and take the kingdom. Now this parable is about a vineyard. This vineyard we see in Isaiah 5 verse 7. The vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the men of Judah his pleasant plant. Okay? And he looked for judgment, but behold oppression. For righteousness, behold a cry. And the harp and the viol and the tabret and the pipe and the wine in their feasts, okay, but they regard not the work of the Lord, neither consider the operation of hands. Okay, therefore, hell has enlarged itself and opened her mouth without measure. So again, we have this music. We told you that the harlot sings after 70 years. It's very important that you understand all the messages we've been releasing leading up to this sacrifice. It's a big deal, guys. It's a big deal. Some of you may not think it is or whatever. You may not understand. But you know that it's ominous. You know what you saw is very, very ominous. But that is not unusual. There's other sacrifices. You can see we saw the altar dedication. We saw the Passover service. Okay. But clearly we have another 70, okay, that will replace the Sanhedrin. Now, Christ said there would be a third temple. Okay, he said, when you see the abomination that makes desolate in the holy place is a temple. So Israel has to be rejoined as a nation, and they have to have a temple, and there has to be an abomination that makes desolate, which you see in 2 Thessalonians chapter 2. But in the meantime, when they are doing these sacrifices, okay, it's to the beast, okay, and it's going to usher in these, apocalyptic things. So some other things I want to do, I want to now share the part of the conference I did attend and show you those little interviews or sessions.
From the time from which we rebuilt our state after a long exile of 2,000 years, so we came back to our role. And this role is not a secondary, a not important role in Israel. We have been chosen by God to give His word to the whole world. And we go deep inside the teaching of Talmud, and I have not the opportunity to come with you with every word of this passage, but it is the work of the commentaries. It means that came a time in humanity in which the nations did not want to achieve the moral precepts as a commandment, as a mitzvah. When was it? It was with the Paulinism, when Paul, the founder of Christianity, decided that the law is abolished. There is no more any law. Why not law? Not because moral is not good, but because you cannot be always in accordance with your commandment, and so you will have the situation in which we will be guilty in front of God. So he decided that you don't have a mitzvah, you don't have a commandment to be moral, but you must be moral. As I said, not everything is is permitted, but not everything is good to do. And that's the reason for which we, the Jewish people, we decided, by the way of our tradition, to give to the nation the possibility of to achieve the moral values as the commandment of God. And to do it, you must accept the 7 laws in front of an official court of the Jewish people. That is the teaching of Maimonides. Maimonides, one of our main teachers in the Middle Ages. That the 7 laws are only a minimum, a basis for speaking. When a person doesn't accept not to kill, so we cannot deal with him. We cannot have any contact, serious contact. So the 7 laws are only a basis. And we suppose that every nation, every society would accept some parts of the 630 commandments of Judaism according to his own sensibility.
Gratitude to the Sanhedrin, Rav Schwartz, Rav Steinsaltz, Rav Ben-Shor, of course, was my instructor. I became, qualified to be an offerer. Rabbi Sherky and Rabbi Halevi Hakak were also around at the time. Rabbi Tepper, Rabbi Hollander, of course, and of course, Secretary of the Sanhedrin, Rabbi Stein, Rabbi Babad, and others. I can't remember all their names. I think there's 70-something, so I'm not going to try. But I'm just looking around and seeing some familiar faces. Please forgive me if I left anyone out.
I just want to say God's ways are not man's ways. About 1 week ago in my house, because I always watch this, they're always talking about Israel. So the man of God said, why don't you just come up to Jerusalem? I'm waiting for you there. So I knew Hashem was talking to me. So, because I don't even know I came here, but now I understand. It's a confirmation. Hashem is just confirming that he called me for a divine purpose, with a divine mandate with regards to Israel. Cameroon is a great friend of Israel, and Israel loves Cameroon. It's vice versa. So I think I am just here to confirm what he told me when I first came to Israel, that Cameroon was now a member of the Council of Nations. So I said, Abba, what is the Council of Nations? So now today I understand that this is the Council of Nations, the 70 nations whom God has a purpose to carry his mandate at this end time. We are very grateful, and I think next time Cameroon will be heavily represented. Toda Rabba.
Guys, as we conclude this here, we're at the site where they dedicated the altar. This is right where they had done this. And now, for those of you that follow this channel and you're educated on the gates of Jerusalem, you'll notice that this is ancient Herod's palace. And this is the place where Pontius Pilate interrogated Christ. Okay, and there's a bema seat right up there. And here's where they dedicated the altar. Now, the reason I want to show you this is something that's really significant. For those of you that, you know, are not familiar with these sacrifices and different things going on, you really got to educate yourself. You really got to see what's going on. Now, before you see that block, what they did is they left a piece of this altar. This is a piece of the altar. And it's been here since December of last year. Now what this is something called aerated concrete. And you can see I'm moving it with my hand quite easily. If there were a handle on it, I could pick it up. This is the material they use to make the altar. And basically, they could put that altar together like Legos. Trying to get to scale something that you can see. Okay, this is just so you can see my hand. This is a small piece. But basically the altar was a little smaller than this space here. Let's just say, for example, we have a corner here. See that? And then here. This is approximately that size of the altar. And like these stones, it was split in half, and it was very easy for them to assemble. The reason we're showing you this is essentially what we're getting at is that Solomon's temple was built off-site. So they left this as like a testimony of this material so as to kind of give us an idea of what they're going to do with the third temple. Third temple will probably be assembled off-site with a material like this that can be, you know, very lightweight and can be assembled very quickly. Okay, so I just wanted to show you this material, show this stone, because they left this here to give us an indication of what, you know, how the temple is going to be built. It's not going to be built out of actual stone like this. It's probably this material here, aerated concrete, assembled off-site, and then within a very, very short period of time can be assembled wherever.